So, with that, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dallas Chamber of Community Affairs. Our guests today are Liz and Salvador with the Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation. And there is a lot underneath that umbrella that helps and benefits our community and communities all along the gorge. So, today we're going to hear some updates, what they're doing, possible programs that we can help promote, encourage, and even maybe know some people that can take advantage of those programs. But before that, we're going to go around the screen and introduce yourself and who you are. And if you promise to keep it short and sweet, a sound bite. If you have something that's going on with your organization so that we are fully aware of that. Also, be sure to drop anything into the chat so that people can access whether it's a website, information, event, uh, all of those things above. And then also, Liz and Salvador, I would love for you at some time today to drop your contact info into that chat screen so that anyone who needs that can grab it so that they can use that and share it. So with that, I am going to start with Miss Corliss.
Good morning, everyone. Corliss Marsh here with Habitat for Humanity and the Library, Senior Center, and the College Foundation. No new updates. Just gearing up for the quilt show at Cherry Festival and the breakfast at the Senior Center.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, that Senior Center. Brian?
Brian Tuck, retired. That's it.
What? Nothing? Okay. Mike.
Good morning, everybody. I'm with Fort Dalles Museum and the Kiwanis Club. I think Lisa would know. Isn't the first ship coming in Friday or something?
I'd have to go look at the calendar.
That's making a difference. So we'll get ready to get more busy.
Yep.
And of course, the Kiwanis Club is starting to think about the Rose Festival, the Cherry Festival.
Yes, that thing. Because you guys do the important job of the parade lineup for me. Yes.
And this is the biggest. I mean, 100 entries probably that's a lot of, but it always goes smoothly.
It's a fun one, but it is a big one. So yes, you're accurate on that piece of it. So, Trish.
Good morning, Trish Neal with Legal Shield, longtime member of the Dallas Chamber of Commerce. I'm still connected to the Dalles through the original Wasco County Courthouse. And I'm also do the website for the Wasco County Pioneer Association, which I'm in the process of updating.
Perfect. Francis. Are you there? We're not hearing you if you are talking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry,
awesome.
I cannot get my stuff to work this morning, so my microphone, that's good. I'm Frances McClanahan. I am an insurance agent down at High Street working in commercial and farm. So I am just here to see what's going on in the community, how we can help, etc.
Perfect. We love it. And they're great neighbors, by the way, because they're right next door to us. So, Leslie.
Morning, everyone. I'm Leslie Naramore. I'm the Executive Director of Mid-Columbia Community Action Council, and I don't have any updates today. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, the Chamber, I am going to put our website for the Cherry Festival. As you know, it has its challenges because it's relocated. So all things are looking different, acting different. But believe me, we are putting on a Cherry Festival. I'm going to also remind people that we're doing a candidate forum, and that will be April 28th, and it'll be at 6 p.m. and at the Senior Center. And so we're doing that right after Cherry Festival is over. So be watching. We'll hopefully send out a press release probably by tomorrow for that aspect, but we're inviting state, county, and federal and anything that might be on the city issue, but I think it's mostly county for this one. So just be watching that, and this is open to everybody. And so it'll be an informational. We'll be asking for questions as we get closer. So anyway, that is where the chamber's at. We have lots of other things going on, but those are the two biggest ones that we have going on. So they are in the chat now. And with that, we're going to go to our guests today. So Salvador and Liz, I am going to let you take over and give us some information. And first off, do you mind if people ask questions during, or do you want them to wait till the end?
Questions during, excuse me, is
Okay.
fine because we have
Okay.
such a variety of programs.
Perfect. I will do my best to watch for hands raised. And if there's anything that goes into the chat, I'll make sure you guys are aware of that too, so you don't have to worry about that piece.
Thank you.
You betcha. All right. Thank you guys for being here, and I'm going to let you take over.
Hi, everyone. My name's Liz Wilbur. I'm the Housing Resource Center Manager at Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation. Excuse me. And I'm here with Salvador, who's going to introduce himself.
Hi, my name's Salvador. As I met you guys previously before, I'm a head housing counselor.
Yeah, Salvador gets into the office a little earlier than I do, so he's our designated attendee to these meetings. So what we're going to do today is we're going to provide you with a broad overview of the different programs that we have at the Housing Resource Center. I'm going to start by talking just sort of in general, and then Salvador will talk about some programs specifically, and we'll sort of be going back and forth. So I'm going to start by sharing our website so everyone can see it as we are talking. So this is the website. I will also make sure that I put it in the chat. And I have gone directly to our homeownership resources page, but this is the landing page. And one of the things that you'll see is that Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation has soon to be 25 rental properties. These are all low-income, affordable rental properties. We are building Mariposa Village in the Dalles right now, which is going to be about, in Hood River, which is going to be about 130 units. And the wait list opens on the 6th for that. So if you need information, you can let us know. That's being handled on the Housing Authority side and through our partners, but happy to share that information with you. Our homeownership resources are listed here, and these are the different programs that we are going to be talking about today. We offer pre-purchase counseling for anybody who is considering buying a home. That does not have to be tied to down payment assistance, and that is not only for people who are low income. So the pre-purchase housing counseling and the home buyer classes, which are geared towards first-time home buyers, are available to anyone regardless of income. We also have foreclosure prevention, which Salvador will talk about, also open to anyone regardless of income. We have financial education classes. Salvador will talk more about those as well. And then we have a variety of home repair programs. The home repair programs currently are open to people at 80% of the area median income or below. And down payment assistance programs are open to anyone at 100% of the area median income or below. And Salvador will talk about eligibility for those in a little more detail. I am also really happy to announce that we have become a HUD-approved housing counseling center. That just happened this year, and we are the only one in the area. And there are a variety of programs that require people to speak with a HUD-approved housing counselor. And right now that's Salvador. Many of you know Dave Peters, the longtime Housing Resource Center manager, and he is retiring on Tuesday. So Salvador and I will be a two-person program for a little while until we can get somebody else hired. So I think that is the primary overview of our housing programs. We have another program, which is the Community Land Trust Program. Well, I'm going to talk about this in a little more detail as well as we go through our planned presentation for today. If you go into the website, all of these link to more additional information. For example, the brochures for the homebuyer classes, the cost, which is $35, registration links, the schedule. We do offer everything in English and in Spanish: homebuyer education, financial education, and our housing counseling. So let me just double check my notes and make sure I didn't have anything else I wanted to talk about before I turn it over to Salvador. He is going to talk about our financial education classes and our home buyer education classes before he turns it back over to me. Does anybody have any general questions before we start? Okay, Sal, you want to talk about the education?
Yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys also a heads up. I also added the link to anybody who is interested for the Mariposa Village waitlist. The link is the one I just previously sent in. Anybody can go in there and submit an inquiry. Again, like she mentioned, it opens up next month on the 6th. So in regards to our financial education classes and our homebuyer classes, technically, quote unquote, we do not charge anything for our services for the class. The $35 fee is actually provided by the college because we use their facilities to be able to facilitate these classes. Those 35s are being charged by them, not by us. But we do have a code for anybody whom is considered a low income. So if anybody can't afford the $35 fee for whatever reason, they can just reach out to us here at the office, and then we can give them a code as long as we could verify income to justify it. But in regards to the financial classes, those financial classes, we basically talk about anything that has to do in regards to an idea of how to live your life. We talk about savings. We talk about predatory lending. We talk about how to set goals. This whole series is a set of four classes. We also provide these classes in Spanish and English, just as the homebuyer class education. The requirement for these classes is required for some special programs that we provide. I don't know if any of you have heard of VITA or IDA, but those programs are sometimes state-based, which is basically a program where you would like to save some money, either regardless if it's for down payment, if it's for a purchase of a vehicle, if it's for like paying down your debt. These programs are provided by the state of Oregon, and the requirement is sometimes taking these classes and doing some continuous educations to be able to receive the benefit of a match of 1 to 5 or 1 to 3, depending on the program that you enter. And then the program is basically you put in $1, they give you 5. So it maxes out, I believe, at a certain dollar amount on your part. So if you put in like $5,000 and you get matched $5 to 1, you get that basically $25,000, and then plus on top of the, well, actually no, so yeah, 5,000 plus on top of the 25 that they match you, you get a total of 30. It is set on a time schedule, so you just can't just put the whole entire amount of money in there, but it is for a long period of time. It's not just for a very short period of time. The homebuyer education classes is actually a requirement to be able to receive our down payment assistance. We currently right now are teaching the classes once a month, periodically. I believe sometimes we are skipping a couple of months since it has been slowing down a little bit. We don't really have a whole lot of down payment assistance funding, but we still do have veteran down payment assistance. which we have an abundance of. We have tried to reach out to multiple agencies to be able to reach to the right people, but have not had any luck. The homebuyer education classes are essentially being used to reach out to anybody whom is wanting to purchase a home. Now, like we mentioned, all of these classes are available for everybody. I have helped people who are over 100% AMI in the area, and they're just wanting to get very educated on the home purchasing world, especially right now with everything going on. But on top of the home education, we actually do home buyers counseling, which is what I do sometimes. And I basically prepare everybody in regards to what they need to know about the world of purchasing a home, anything that has to do with like a realtor, lender, any kind of paperwork that they have questions in regards. We basically go over it with the class, but I can go into more depth into a one-on-one session with them. You are welcome to reach out to me at the number that is provided in the chat. And obviously you guys have my email as well too. But yeah, that is everything for these classes. Liz?
Thank you, Salvador. Does anybody have any questions about the classes? The programs that he was talking about, the IDA and the VITA, those are run through the Housing Authority. We are in the same building as the Housing Authority. Most people just think of Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation and the Housing Resource Center as the Housing Authority, which is fine because we're in the same building. And those are run by our FSS coordinators, and they're with the Housing Authority. Yeah, Francis, you have a question?
I don't have a question, more of a comment. For the homeowners, home buyer class, I'm gonna guess that you guys probably talk about like adding insurance in it and the cost of that and stuff, because that's something that is needed. So obviously our office does personal line stuff, so we would love to connect with you guys, see where we can help out with, you know, brochures or classes, just to help out. That'd be great.
Absolutely. You can contact Salvador. We do have a real estate agent who comes in, and I think escrow, is that right, Sal? Who comes in and talks, you know, kind of about the need. Anyone who presents to the class is not allowed to discuss, like give out their contact information. It's a HUD rule. But we do provide lists also of realtors in the area, lenders in the area, and insurance agents in the area. So you can absolutely be added to the list. We are also prohibited from recommending anybody. That includes contractors, that includes lawyers. You know, if somebody is facing bankruptcy, the only thing that we can do is provide a list of local providers, and then the individual selects from the list. So
yeah, no, totally understandable. I know that just we have the knowledge, you know, with what we're seeing with carriers, what's difficult to place, you know, what areas with the wildfire zone, year built, things like that. So obviously, you know, we would obviously run that stuff by you guys to determine what we can and can't say, but it's definitely very important knowledge, especially going in home buying. It's already a stressful situation, and then when you add insurance on it and possible, you know, insurance that you can't get because of whatever reason, you know, the home is older or it's in a wildfire zone, then that adds a lot more stress to people as well.
Yeah, thank you, Francis. You're absolutely correct. I'm hearing some really terrible stories about people in Klickitat County. I should have mentioned that the counties that we serve Hood River, Wasco, and Sherman counties in Oregon, but we also serve Klickitat and Skamania counties in Washington. So fundamentally, we serve the entire Columbia River Gorge. And I was recently writing a grant application and was talking with my insurance agent in Stevenson to get just some numbers about insurance. And there's some areas in Klickitat County that the insurance is prohibitive at this point because of wildfire risk. And I'm sure the same situation is happening over here. So thank you very much. It's really excellent points. And again, feel free to reach out to Salvador. You'll notice that I'm talking more generally about the programs, and then he's getting more detailed. I've been in this position a little more than a year. And I've been in the affordable housing world a little more than a year. So the learning curve has been steep, and Salvador is the program expert. So I will be deferring some questions to him as we go through. So the next sort of set of programs that we're going to talk about, as Salvador mentioned, the down payment assistance. So we offer pre-purchase counseling in addition to the home buyer education class. As Salvador mentioned, the home buyer education class really does cover the breadth of the home buying experience, from what you need to do to be able to purchase a home, all the way through the buying process, and then post-purchase, including a little bit of a conversation about saving for home repairs, etc. So it's about a 6 to 7 hour class. It's all day on a Saturday. And it's a really effective class. About a year ago, we purchased a new curriculum for that class, again, both in English and Spanish, from Dev Northwest. And so it's been a very successful class. We run it if we have people. We've had fewer people attend because we have less down payment assistance, unfortunately. And one of the reasons I really wanted to present to the community today is just to remind everybody that these classes and these opportunities are available to anyone, regardless of income. So the next conversation that, the next thing Salvador is going to present is down payment assistance. I'm going to share a flyer geared towards veterans, because the majority of the down payment assistance that we have right now is for veterans, but some of the down payment assistance on the flyer is for people at 100% area median income or below. So Salvador, go ahead and talk about down payment assistance, and I'm going to get the flyer up.
Sounds good. Okay, so back to the down payment assistance portion of everything. Like I mentioned previously, the veteran down payment assistance is what we have more money, more abundance of money at. We currently have $270,000 still to give out. The program will be ending sometime in August, I believe. I think they extended it a couple more months, so it potentially could be closer to the end of the year, but I still need to touch base with the state and confirm those dates. But yeah, so this funding can be used for many different purposes. It could be used for this, obviously, the down payment, but it could also be used for the closing cost of the entirety of the purchase of a home. Now, typically, you want to say that you want to have at least anywhere between 3 to 4% of the purchasing price as saved for closing costs, which obviously in Hood River County, it could be tremendously high. We currently have down payment assistance for the city limits, the Hood River city limits, which is actually funding that is provided by the city of Hood River to be able to help applicants purchase within the city limits of Hood River. We have attempted to reach out to the city of Hood River to extend it to the county of Hood River, but we have not had any luck. They want to solely try to keep the money inside the city limits of Hood River just because of the fact that it is extremely hard to be able to purchase in there. Now, just as a quick example, if somebody is a veteran and is a first generation home buyer, which is somebody's whose parents do not own property within the last 3 years, they are considered first generation home buyers, and they are able to receive up to $60,000 in veteran down payment and $60,000 in the city limits down payment, which then we can go up to 120%, or sorry, $120,000 or 20% of the purchasing price, which either of the two comes first. So this is a great program to be able to help somebody purchase a home, at least in a very short period of time. But we do have a little bit of funding for the Hood River County, which is just all the counties that are actually in Hood River County. We like Cascade Locks, Odell, Parkdale, all those areas. We only have 62,395. Thank you, Liz. I see that. It's in the chat. For anybody who is interested in these programs, I believe that obviously we're coming into the 3 month or 2 month mark, because next month is literally right around the corner. But if we can make an exemptions in regards to taking the class because the class is a requirement, I can have a one-on-one counseling session with anybody who is interested because we just have a short period of time now. So it's very important that we try to get the rest of this money out because if we just give it back to the state, I mean, they're just gonna. I don't know exactly what they do with it, but we try to use it as much as possible to be able to provide it to people. I don't know when the next round of funding that we're going to have for the general public, but the previous program was amazing. We were giving $90,000 of down payment assistance as either a forgivable loan or a grant. It is something that we're currently working on, trying to see other avenues to be able to provide to people. But the state actually has provided basically a way to help out with their own personal product for loan. It's called flex lending. It is very new. It just barely came out. Like I want to say, like maybe a couple of months ago, due to the fact that obviously we did not receive any more additional down payment funding. This funding is provided by the state. And I'm gonna try and see if I can find it really quickly. It is solely for people who, oh, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I am talking about. Alrighty, can you guys see my screen?
No. Oh yeah, there it goes. Just delayed.
There you go.
Okay,
Good.
perfect.
Thanks, Al.
Awesome. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is the product that is provided by the state of Oregon. It is for first-time home buyers. It is for the requirements are as followed. You have to have a home buyer education course, which the class that we provide actually does meet the requirements for this for it to be met. There is no minimum investment, so they don't have to provide any down payment if not needed. In regards to if they're trying to purchase a home that's a little out of their price range, then they do have to provide down payment on their portion to be able to close the gap. Down payment assistance, obviously, yes, it is provided. You must have a credit score of 620. There are income limits. The max is 125,000, but it is based off the household size. So if you obviously have a family of two, it increases, family four, and so on and so forth. Purchasing price limits, there are some targeted areas, and then agency maximum loan allowed. This is the only other thing that it is a little hesitant to be able to do this. There are very few lenders that were chosen for this, closed down to specifically one lender in area. So I'm going to put right here, Hood River. And then it takes me to anybody whom is approved by the state to be able to provide these loans. So Union Home Mortgage is one of the lenders, and then Director's Mortgage is another lender. So then that is for Hood River. Then if we go just type in there Wasco, Guild Mortgage is for Wasco County. So they're the only ones that are able to provide this product to the people in those areas. Obviously, like we mentioned before, we try to avoid providing just one lender because it is against HUD regulations. But with these kind of special programs, it's not an exemption. It's just like, hey, we're providing you a product. You're more than welcome to research a little bit more on their behalf. And then they would have to reach out to them in regards to like if they are really interested in this program or not. But this is one product that was created by the state of Oregon for obviously the missing gap, because we were technically supposed to receive funding this time around. But unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, the program was just not funded this time around. But yeah, so and to close it all up, down payment assistance, what we have left is veterans, Hood River County, and city limits of Hood River. I'm more than welcome to, I'm more than happy to work with anybody. I know the only issue though is that the home has to be within a contract before that date, and it has to be basically signed, sealed, delivered by 6/30, 2026. I know it is a very short gap. I want to say they extended it a little bit. I want to say they extended it maybe till August, but I need to confirm that because they sent us a lot of emails in regards to it. But if once we get those updated dates, I will provide it to you guys.
Thanks, Salvador. The last time I checked, everything was ending at the end of the fiscal year, but we've had some conversations, especially with the Hood River County and City of Hood River monies to get those extended. That money comes from the construction excise tax. In case you're wondering why isn't it in the Dalles or why isn't it in Wasco County, that comes through that CET. It goes to Oregon Housing and Community Services, and then it goes back out to organizations like ours. We have been really amping up the veterans outreach to let veterans know that we have this money. And as Salvador said, the veterans, if somebody is a first generation, first time home buyer, they can get up to $120,000 for a property in Hood River City, for example. Unfortunately, the median home price in Hood River City is over $700,000. So $120,000 doesn't go very far. And that's one of the problems that we're having with being able to give this down payment assistance. And also, as Salvador has mentioned, we had a very robust down payment assistance last year. We gave out about $1 million in down payment assistance through that program alone. Those are forgivable loans. And nobody in the state was given that program again because of budget. Corliss, we're gonna get to home repair here in just a minute. So the next programs that we're going to talk about are post-purchase counseling. So somebody's bought a home and then they need help while they're in their home. We have two primary post-purchase counseling programs. One is foreclosure avoidance, which Salvador can talk about quickly, and then home repair, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about. The foreclosure avoidance often goes to the state. It's lender generated, but people can come talk to us directly if they've been having trouble paying their mortgage and they're concerned that they're going to be facing foreclosure. So they can come in sort of before that process starts. So Sal, do you want to talk about foreclosure avoidance quickly, and then I'll get to home repair?
100%. Yeah. So it won't be as quickly as Liz mentioned, but it is because it is a very touchy subject. But right now, I just want to provide this information very quickly. There is actually assistance for people whom are past due on their mortgage. The state of Oregon, again, is had some funding from a program previously. It's called HAF, which is homeowners. I don't know exactly the abbreviation, but it's homeowner something. But the HAF program is Homeowner Assistance Fund. And then I'm going to share my screen one more time. I'm going to provide you guys the information for it. It might take a little while. There we go. I think everybody should be able to see the screen now. But this program right now is helping people pay past due balances up to $50,000 as a grant. Nothing else. They reach out to your lender. They pay the past due balance, make your mortgage current, and then you move forward paying your mortgage. It automatically forgiven. These are the requirements for this program specifically for the foreclosure avoidance program. Now, they don't technically have to work with me per se to be able to get these fundings. But this program is specifically through the state of Oregon. We are still able to help people upload documents and stuff like that as necessary. But this is just one program that I just really wanted to get everybody out there because I think it was like 1.7 million is that what they had left over of like 50 million that they had for the whole state of Oregon. Some of the loans were repaid back and they just weren't able to get rid of all of it. So this is the third and final round of waiving the funding. So it's something that is very important that I just wanted everybody to know. But in regards to the foreclosure aspect, a lot of people are like, hey, there's just nothing that I can do. There is a lot of things that I can do. I want to say right now, and I'm gonna knock on wood, but me personally, I have been able to help. I have, in the 4 years that I have worked here, I have possibly maybe not been able to help one or two people be able to resolve their issues with their lender. But those were just because the issues were just a little too far gone already by the time they got to me. But I want to say that I have the knowledge to be able to help absolutely anybody to be able to avoid foreclosure. The state of Oregon has an Oregon foreclosure avoidance program. It is an amazing program. It helps owners, homeowners try to sit down with the lender and be able to work out a program or a solution in order for them to be able to avoid foreclosure. There is a fee for that program, but there are some exemptions as well. If you are obviously low income, if something were to happen, there's just a lot of things that a lot of people just don't realize it until it's already too late. But we have, again, just like we did with the veteran home repair, we have attempted to reach out to multiple radio stations, posted it on social media, everything. And it's just right now we don't currently see a high volume of those clients, which I hope is because they just don't need the services, not because they just don't know about us. But yeah, that is a small glimpse of the foreclosure world.
Thank you, Salvador. I'm going to go. Does anybody have questions about foreclosure avoidance before I move on to home repair? Okay, so another aspect of the services that we provide are a variety of home repair programs. So here is the flyer for that. And this is an 80% area median income limit. The programs that we have currently are grants. So we're really excited about that. I'm really hoping that we get some lower income folks who are eligible. Right now, we have grants up to about $25,000. Some of those have to be related to health and safety of the occupant or the property, just to let you know that. The homeowner does have to own the home, be the primary residence. They aren't supposed to own additional homes. That's an important point as well. We do income qualify everybody, and then we go out and take a look at the home, determine what repairs need to be done, provide the homeowner with a list of contractors, provide the homeowner with a scope of work. Homeowner will solicit bids. We'll get those bids and work with the contractor. We do pay the contractor directly for the repairs. We have a couple of programs right now. We just sent out a sort of email blast and mail blast to everybody who's been on our home repair wait list. These are programs that have been a little slow to go because of capacity, and we're getting ready to ramp up. So we have two programs right now. One is started. The other one, we're still in the process of finalizing all the grant paperwork, but we're trying to get some homeowners eligible so that when that program starts, we can go ahead and slot them in. And those programs are for people in Hood River, Wasco, and Sherman counties. I know it's kind of general. Home repair is a little difficult because it requires first eligibility and then Salvador going out to the house, taking a look, talking with the homeowner about what needs to be done, and then determining if that scope of work fits within the grant requirements, and each grant has different requirements. So home repair is complicated. Just say that it's complicated, but we're wrapping our heads around it, and we're excited to be able to help people stay in their homes. Corliss, did you have any specific questions about home repair? Does anybody have questions? If you know somebody who needs home repair, you can certainly send Salvador or myself an email. We're working with an intake specialist right now, Carrie, and she'll get that intake out to people.
Okay. Well, Habitat got a grant also to do similar things, but we've been getting inquiries, so I'm glad to hear that you're doing it too. So we'll send some people over because we didn't get
Sure.
very much money, and but we get calls all the time. So I'm glad to know that you're doing it also.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, we certainly have more people on the list, than we're going to be able to help. We do also have we have loans. We have 0% interest deferred loans for home repair. We have paused that program right now because of capacity, quite honestly. Those programs are a little bit more complicated because they require us to become a silent second, on the property, and it's just a more complicated process. So, and we do offer those in Washington and Oregon, and once we ramp those up again, we'll let people know. But we really want to make sure we get the grant funding out. We haven't had home repair grant funding for quite a while, and that's really, really exciting, that we can help people fix their homes. And the only thing we ask for the homeowner is a little bit of sweat equity, with contacting the contractors, and keeping an eye on what's going on in their home while the repairs are taking place. So I think that's a pretty good deal, to get some home repair. We do roofs, if necessary. That's a big question that we get. But again, the grants are limited. We're saying about $25,000. Each one's a little bit different. So that might get you a roof. So yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. One of our staff members at Mid-Columbia Housing Authority is on the Habitat board. So we have a good working relationship with Habitat. Okay. I think if nobody has any other questions, then we just have one more program. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to fill the time, and look at us go. One more program I'm going to talk about briefly, because it's something that we are in the process of getting kind of all together. But we are getting ready to break ground on our very first community land trust project in Carson. And the community land trust is a relatively new model in the area. You may know Big River Land Trust. They recently built their first community land trust home in Hood River. A lot of you are probably familiar with Habitat. It is not the same model as Habitat. So what happens with the community land trust is we own land. So I'm going to talk about the Carson project because that's when we're getting ready to break ground on. So we own 7 acres in Carson, Washington. And we're going to be building 14 single family homes. Those homes will be available to people earning 80% of the area median income or below. There's the map. Thank you. So it's going to cycle through automatically, even though I took the cycle automatically off. I apologize for that. So it's just north of the Wind River Middle School. We have this little L shape there, 7 acres, 14 single family homes. And there is our site plan for right now. And the way that community land trust model works is Columbia Cascade Housing Corporation will continue to retain ownership of the land. The homeowner will purchase the home. And what this model does is it allows homes to be affordable because the homeowner is not purchasing the land. Usually we have other programs in place like down payment assistance, which we don't currently have in Washington. Unfortunately, we weren't given that grant. But there are some lenders that provide some down payment assistance. The state of Washington has another program that provides some down payment assistance as well to help the homes become even more affordable. The homeowners will pay a land lease. It's currently $65 a month. There is a 99-year ground lease. The homes are inheritable. They are sellable. But one of the main caveats with community land trust is that the equity is capped. And the reason that the equity is capped is to keep the homes affordable. So when somebody who purchases one of these homes is ready to sell, that home will be sold again to somebody earning 80% of area median income or below. The homeowner will receive some equity. So it's going to be 1.5% capitalized annually. And studies show that people who purchase community land trust homes, almost when they sell, they almost always go into homes on the open market. Salvador, can you go back a slide for a second? Because the what are we doing now? We've actually kind of done it all, believe it or not. So this is an example that I had created for Skamania County, for business owners primarily, but so that people can see that most of the jobs in Skamania County are paying for families below the 80% area median income. This is actually for an individual earner. So this was just an idea for people to see kind of what that looks like. So we're hoping to have a lot of qualified people. The interest list is open. So if people want to get on it, they can let us know. And we're hoping to break ground this summer. That was a very broad overview of the way community land trusts work. We're actually going to Sisters in April. Our Director of Real Estate Development, Sergio, and I, and Sonia, who's on the Habitat Board, for some more community land trust training. I've been getting a lot of it. I'm going to be getting more, but that's sort of the overview. So does anybody have any questions about the community land trust? We also have a property in the Dalles. We've applied for funding. That would be 2 duplexes. Haven't gotten funding yet. We have been applying for it. Funding is incredibly competitive, and we are entirely grant funded at this point. So once that funding comes through, it will eventually, we'll be building 4 duplexes on a property in the Dalles, and then we have some other properties that we hope to be able to build on as we move forward. Does anybody have any questions about community land trust?
You may have hit this, I'm not sure. There was a lot. When you do that where they're leasing the land, does that sometimes make it challenging for them to get the financing for the house?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are a limited number of lenders who do community land trust lending, but the number is getting bigger all the time because this is rapidly becoming the affordable home ownership model in the country. There are a couple 100,000 properties already throughout the country under this model. And in fact, anyone applying for state funding for home ownership construction in the state of Oregon has to have some sort of shared equity model, including the community land trust model. So Washington and Oregon are really starting to focus on this model almost exclusively for state funding for single family home ownership. So that's a good question. Yeah, but there are some in the area. Umpqua, it's not called Umpqua anymore.
Columbia.
Does it? And there are some others, and we're working on getting that list together. And I've talked to, other lenders and sort of local lenders who haven't quite gotten there yet. And that's a good question too, because to purchase these homes, people do have to qualify for a conventional mortgage. So they have to have a credit score that will allow them to get that mortgage. Ideally, they're going to have some money for closing costs or down payment, though again, because these folks are low income, we're trying to get a variety of sources together. They will be sold pretty significantly below market rate. Don't have final numbers yet, but probably a couple $100,000 for a 3-bedroom home below market rate. So a couple $100,000 below the current, the median price for a 3-bedroom single family home in Skamania County is around $523. I just got those numbers from a realtor for another grant application. So we're hoping to sell them, in the 3. So homeowners are completely responsible for the property, maintaining the property. They pay all taxes, including taxes on the land.
Okay.
So they are paying the taxes for the land and the home. The Carson property will have an HOA. That's Washington law.
Yeah.
Our plan for the 2 duplexes in the Dalles is no HOA. There will be no common ground, shared ground at all. We worked with the architect to make that happen. So, we're trying to keep homeowners in mind as well. The way that I explain community land trust homeownership is it's like the gap year between renting and owning on the free market. So, and one of the reasons I describe it that way is because, or you can think of it as like a bridge, is because the Housing Resource Center is working with these homeowners throughout the process. They have to take home buyer education. They have to do pre-purchase counseling. We work with them through the process. We will be coming onto the properties at least once a year to take a look and make sure everything is being kept up, because we do have an investment here as well. We will not be policing. But, and if homeowners are worried about facing foreclosure, studies also show that people who own in this model are far less likely to be foreclosed upon and face foreclosure. But if they're concerned about that, they can meet with us. If they need home repair, they can meet with us. So they're stewarded throughout their homeownership journey, which is a really nice part of this model.
So if they had an evaluation of their equity that they've built, the equity is not going to be, the land is not included in that. Is it through this process, or do they have okay.
Correct.
Just curious on how that all works. It's a different model than normal.
Right. So the equity is based on the sales price. So let's say they bought the house for $300,000. I'm just throwing out a round number.
Yep.
Then they're going to earn 1.5% that first year. That 1.5% will be capitalized, and then they'll earn 1.5% again the next year. But that the initial 1.5% is earning also the 1.5%, right? The capitalization.
Right.
So, I think, I don't want to do numbers off the top of my head, but I think for a $350,000 home after 10 years, it's like 30,000. Nobody quote me on that, please. I have a formula somewhere, but homeowners will walk away with some equity. It is not the same as purchasing on the open market. But it is a way for people to have homeownership that is
a building block.
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. No, just curious. I'm the math person, so I'm always curious on how all that works. So thank you for explaining that, Liz.
Of course.
Is there any other questions? Great questions this morning, by the way. Thank you. Well, with that, Liz and Salvador, thank you so much. This helps to understand. I have a ton of notes now that I know I need to attack and do so that we're better informed in our office, because we do get phone calls. And I love that Frances was on here and asked a tons of questions too, because her and I talk, and her office and I talk, and it's like, how can we better serve? And I know that is High Street's motive, is how can we better serve our community? So I love that interaction. But thank you so much for taking time this morning to really explain just what you guys are doing for our communities in the Gorge. It's huge. It's giving people, like we said, a building block. It's giving them a step up, and not a hand out, but a hand up, and being able to do that and not feel so overwhelmed, and being able to have partners along the way. We appreciate that education and the home buyer. Wish I would have had that before we bought our home. So it's always good because things are ever changing. It's not the same climate it was 20 or 30 years ago, and it's not the same process or the regulations or stipulations. So we appreciate that you guys have that service, both in Spanish and English. That is amazing. So with that, everyone, have a fantastic week. Dan will be back next week for you guys. And then if all of you can help share the word, I am going to need volunteers for the Cherry Fest, and we're still looking for some key sponsors. Not all of our big events have sponsors stepped up. It's a tough economy right now. So, but we would appreciate anything in that support area as we put on this community event that our community loves so much, but also makes a huge financial economic impact to our businesses in our area from all the visitors that are coming in. So there we go with that. And then always be watching to see who's coming up next and all those different parts and pieces. And if you know of somebody that you would like to hear on this platform, please let us know and we'll reach out and see if we can bring them on as a guest speaker. So with that, everybody, happy Thursday. Have a fantastic weekend and enjoy. And then, as I always say, be sure you're supporting local. So thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity
Have
to
a good day,
present.